proud of you guys. The way you kind of handle your business. This is a great team win. What do we say during the week? You go earn it, right? You earn this win, baby. You earned it. Everything you got now for the next 7 days. Everything you got. We got a break after that, but give me everything you got for 7 days.
Hey, there ain't a lot that needs to be said, but this feels good.
Yes, sir.
It's the way to go to work, disregard everything everyone wanted to say, all the negativity everyone wanted to feel. We put that behind us, and now we're just rolling. Remember how this feels, and let's go back to work and go do it again at home next week. Stay together. Family on three. 1, 2, 3. Family.
And they finally stuck together like a family. Good to see this team smiling again as we welcome the Quick Slants presented by Nissan. With Barrett Brooks, I'm Derrick Gunn, and what a difference a week makes, and how impressed were you with this team, with the way they responded, with all the outside noise that was going on last week?
Well, I knew inside that locker room those guys were going to be solid, but I think the difference is they changed their mindset. Just because you won a Super Bowl a year and a half ago, just because you went to all those NFC East championship games former years when Big Red was here, just because you're the Eagles does not mean everybody's going to sit down and all right then let you beat them. They learned that they had to go back to fundamentals. They had to go back to doing things the right way. It's an attention to detail. That's the attitude that they had lacked for a little while. They didn't go in and work to get to the point where they are right now in this game. And that's the difference between being a team that, all right, everybody respects to a team that everybody's going to fear. I played on the Steelers team, man. When we walked in the building, everybody expected us to win. But the difference, we put in the work to go out there and win. We made sure practice was harder than game type situation because our expectation was when we go out there and practice, we practice against a great team, and then when we got to play, we played against a team that was less than what we just practiced against. We knew we played against that best defense in the NFL. Me going against Casey Hampton, going against James Ferrier, going against all these great defensive players, Troy Polamalu, during practice, knowing when I go and play any other team, it's going to be a fall off in the level of competition. I can remember 2 years ago them saying, all right, the hardest time that we have during the week, now it's not game day. It's going against guys like BG, going against guys like Fletcher Cox. Remember the offensive line saying that. And then Fletcher turned around and saying, yeah, man, it's hard going against a guy like Kelsey. Kelsey's going to get up underneath, use his leverage. I didn't hear any of that when they were going into this camp because I don't think that they went to that mindset of go out there and practice. I'm not going to say that they didn't work hard, but I'm saying they had a different mindset. I think they're getting that attitude back that they had lacked the past couple of weeks.
All right, the Eagles' win came in large part as a result of the run game. The Birds racked up 218 yards in the ground, the highest total under Doug Peterson, and they stayed committed. 41 carries.
Can you believe it?
Here's a look at the Thunder and Lightning. Their two running backs both play big parts. Jordan Howard carried 23 times for 96 yards and a touchdown. Then there's Miles Sanders, who ripped off a 65-yard touchdown run and racked up another 44 receiving yards. All right, let's go to the Birds on the success on the ground.
It's really our recipe. It's how we want to be. We want to be able to run the ball. We want to be able to establish the line of scrimmage, and we were able to do that today.
Just really when you're running the ball and you can continuously run either the same play or something like it, and it doesn't matter what they do, they can't stop it. I mean, that's imposing your will.
I mean, it's a long season, so eventually it's going to start working for us. And we leaned on the running game today. We had a high wind and tough weather, so we knew it was going to be a run the ball type of game.
We knew we were going to come into the game. It was going to be pretty tough conditions, so we knew we were going to have to lean on the run game, and luckily we were able to carry the team.
So did this Eagles team finally find its identity?
I hope so. I really do hope so. What you heard what Coach said when he went into the post-game press conference. He said that the conditions dictated what he did on offense. What he meant was that winds blowing as hard as they were going, you're not going to throw the ball down the field. The field was wet. You don't want to take chance and, ball slipping off a receiver's hands. So the conditions in which they played in dictated what they called on the offense. Another thing is, it was a smaller defensive line that they played against. The two outside guys are smaller type of defensive ends. And, the rookie, Ed Oliver, he's only 6'2", 275, 280 pounds soaking wet. He was a smaller type of guy. So they knew that if they got double teams on him, they could move the rock. If you notice, it was a by plan that they worked out. They ran that 64-yard touchdown by the rookie. The reason they did that, they ran it that way, because they knew they were going to have a smaller Ed Oliver, and they knew that Sayamalu and Kelsey could blow him out of there, which allowed them to get to the second level to the linebackers. They moved him out the way because he's a smaller guy. So, it was really the opponent and what conditions are going to dictate what Coach Peterson wants to do. Coach Peterson's big red disciple, man. He wants to go out there and sling it, man. He run and gun. He wants to get the ball in the air. But I love the fact that they had a come to Jesus moment and saying, all right, we can run the rock. Let's go ahead and run it. We're going to keep running it. When have I seen this before? I saw it like 3 games or 4 games ago when they played against Green Bay, which won a game. So it's not a coincidence that their 2 best games are games in which they controlled the line of scrimmage, number 1, and ran the ball. When you do that, it leads to great football. There have been times where we committed to the run, but didn't really commit to the run. I think they just went out there and just said, all right, then we have to pound it. So the only way we're going to make some headway is we go out there and really put our mindset on running the ball, period, point blank.
I think this identity we're talking about is still a work in progress.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's been too inconsistent. You brought out the Green Bay game. Yesterday's game really stands out. But you look at the way the running game unfolded throughout the course of the season. Twice, they've been held to under 100 yards rushing. A couple of games, they had to come out of the run because they were so far behind.
Exactly.
And try to play catch-up, and they couldn't. And then a couple of other games, the running was working from our viewpoint.
Yep.
And they get away from the run and start playing right into the strength of a defense.
Well, to tell you the truth,
yeah.
Just in understanding what Coach Peterson is. Coach Peterson is one of those guys where late in the season, that's when he's going to start running the ball. He's one of those guys that understand you run the ball
right
when it's time to go out there and make the donuts, when it's time to get into that playoff race. So I think as we progress along a little further, you're going to see a lot more running because he knows in the playoffs you have to run the ball.
I hope you're right, because when you look at the receiving core they have, it's a receiving core that can't get a lot of separation. It's a receiving core that's not making a lot of big plays. Defenses are now taking Zach Ertz out of the equation. So if you're going to control the clock, especially when you start playing some of these better offenses, you want to keep the opposition's offense off the field, best way to do that, tote the rock.
Yes, sir.
No question about it. All right, the Cowboys sat back and watched the Eagles win yesterday in Buffalo, and the Birds are now a half game behind the boys. Here's how the schedule shapes up the rest of the way. The boys face the Giants next Monday night, while the Eagles welcome in a Bears team that has lost 3 consecutive games. Now, both still have the Patriots on their schedule, as well as an NFC West power. The Eagles host the Seahawks, while the Cowboys host the Rams, and of course, that all-important Week 16 showdown is on the horizon here in Philly. Barrett, do you think they catch Dallas for the division title?
Well, you know what? It's not necessarily they're going to catch up with them. I think that Dallas is going to allow them to move up the scale, because I don't think they're going to be able to get through that murderous road. They're in that murderous road. You look at the team, Minnesota, you got Detroit, you got the Patriots, the Bills,
yep,
the Bears, and the Rams.
Yep.
Still yet to play. We just went through that 6-game, hell.
But we still have 3 more to go.
3 more to go. But still, though, man, we're going through it. We're weathering the storm right now.
Right.
They're still going into the storm.
Right.
And with their record being as such, it's going to be tough for them to really grab those games like, the Lions. Lions are a lot better than what they were perceived to be at the beginning of the season. The Patriots, we already know, is 7-0. I mean, great team. But that Bills defense can really get out there and stop the run against Dallas, I hope. You know what I mean? So, there's some pretty good defenses in there. The Bears, good defense. We still got them also. So, I like the fact that they have some games in there where they're going to have to focus on winning and winning convincingly, which allows us to go with our pansy schedule after that, man. The 2 best teams, we got to beat the Seahawks and the Bears.
Yeah, you got the Giants twice.
Yeah.
Coming up the last 5 games.
Washington.
You have Washington again. You have Miami.
Which
is like a college team right now.
It's a layup, bro.
And then you get the rematch with Dallas here in Philadelphia. But I do think an integral part of the Eagles' success down the road is if and when they get Deshaun Jackson back. And I have been told, as I tweeted out earlier today, that even when Deshaun Jackson comes back, I've been told that when he returns to the playing field, he may have to deal with that nagging pain in his abdomen for the rest of this season.
That goes without saying.
If that's the case, then it affects his ability to stretch a field.
Absolutely.
Because then at one time it feels good and he stretches that field, again, I bring up C.J. Mosley. Mosley was going through the groin injury. He went out on the field and aggravated it. Now they're saying he's down 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, Jets linebacker, C.J.
Talking about the Jets linebacker.
Yeah,
He's done.
You're right. And if you look at it, Mac Hollins kind of went through the same thing.
Yes.
But I've also seen some guys get through it. Zach Ertz was able to fight through it. So there is some light up there. But you're never as healthy as you are at the beginning of the season.
Right, but Zach Ertz don't run as fast as DJ.
Right. So that's another thing. That's another thing. We're talking about DJ. Now his slow. is way faster than most guys in the league anyway. So he might be able to get it going. Just his presence being out there makes you account for where he is. So you got to get that, gets that 8th defender out the box. So just him being out there is a threat.
All right, we're going to step aside right now. Coming up, I go gun on one with the Green Goblin himself on the defense's turnaround. Plus, Howie Roseman has always worked the phones for a pass rusher. He's got one in the fold now. What else could he have in store? We have details on the new acquisition and explain why something fun could be untapped for the GM. The NFL trade deadline creeping up on us tomorrow, and the Eagles have already fired their first salvo, acquiring defensive end Jannard Avery from the Browns in exchange for a reported 4th-round pick in 2021. Now, Avery was a 5th-round pick in 2018 and registered 4.5 sacks as a rookie, but has played sparingly this year. Barrett, do you like the Eagles bolstering the D-line?
I do, man, because Schwartz is a guy that he wants his defensive line to be the way that he rushes the passer, how he works his defense. He doesn't worry about the secondary as much as the D-line, So if they're bolstering up those guys, I like the fact they're going. And Avery is kind of a guy that he can really work for this team. With BG doing a lot in the inside when they run the NASCAR, he's been able to go out there and beat some guards. I think he'll have a place for him. I don't understand why he didn't play when he was in Cleveland.
Right.
Last year he played because they needed him. This year they brought in Olivier Vernon, so he's playing from the Giants. He's playing now in his position. So I understand why his time got cut short. With them going into this year. But 4.5 sacks is still something that I can work with from a young guy, man. Coming into this defense, I do see him making some things happen, man.
And of course, he wasn't going to play in front of Myles Garrett. So
that's why I didn't even mention him. He's never going to play in front of Myles Garrett.
All right, meanwhile, Pro Football Talks' Mike Florio had this to say about the Birds last night on Pro Football Night in America.
The trade deadline's coming up Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm told to watch the Eagles. They may be looking to do something fun now that they're 4-4 and they're in the mix. They tried to get Jalen Ramsey. Patrick Peterson, he's a guy the Cardinals have rejected multiple offers to get him, including at least one first-round pick. But the Eagles may have something cooking.
What could constitute something fun for the Birds?
Something fun. Well, I know Jannard Avery isn't something fun. He's going to go out there and make some things happen, but I don't know if he's something fun. But, go out there and get Chris Harris, cornerback from the Broncos. Have him come in. A shutdown corner can really help and bolster his defensive backs. Maybe a wide receiver somewhere, I don't know, Devontae Parker with Miami. But, he said Patrick Peterson. That would be much love if they brought him in. But
a linebacker, maybe? Maybe a linebacker?
With experience, a starting linebacker with experience to play, I could definitely see that. But I don't know what constitutes something fun. Just give me something.
All right, Howie, come on. Give us something fun to talk about on Tuesday.
Something.
Quick Slants will be back in about 90 seconds. Afterwards, I went gun on one with the Green Goblin.
As you know, this is a defense that had taken a lot of criticism the last couple of weeks, and you guys played, I thought, a much better game overall today. What changed for you guys in this game?
Just playing assignment football. You know what I'm saying? We talked about, these last 2 weeks, we came up short as a defense, you know what I'm saying? And just detailing the little bitty things this whole weekend. We went out there, we executed that practice, and we did it in the game.
How important was it to squash all the outside noise that have been coming in the locker room and attacking you guys the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it wasn't really nothing to squash. At the end of the day, we know the guys that we have in our locker room. We know the leaders on our team. They're going to lead us to victories. And we got our guys in offense, defense, and special teams to come every day and work hard.
Josh Allen is not that upper echelon quarterback yet. What was it more important, trying to rattle him or just controlling Frank Gore?
Both. Frank Gore is a downhill runner. You know what I'm saying? A lot of respect for him to be able to run for as long as he has, and as long as he's been in the league. And as far as Josh, he has a big arm, and he also can take out with his legs, as you see in the game.
Yeah. Feel good to finally breathe a sigh of relief and get that W?
Yeah, no doubt. But foot still on the gas pedal. We still got more work to do.
All right, Barrett, defense looked a lot different yesterday. Do you think they're starting to figure things out now?
I think it's more so an attitude, more so than them figuring stuff out. You got a guy like Jalen Mills, Ronald Darby, coming back, 2 starters from the Super Bowl. They bring that cockiness and that attitude to the game. They know they're good, and they play like they're good. And that's the way they carry themselves. When you got guys that are kind of unsure, younger guys, it's hard for them to go out there with that same presence. Well, these two definitely have that presence. They like working together. If you watch, the communication was great in this game. You know, they used to have a lot of assignment busts as far as guys, you know, running through and not carrying guys as far as they're supposed to carry them. You know, just like in the Dallas game, he was able to get that pick because he carried the receiver all the way to the end zone. And then this last game, watch how they were switching up. If you go back and watch the film, watch how they switch routes up. You know, if you come up there, they weren't trying to follow guys. They would switch guys off, bump coverage. Those are things you can do with veteran players, not necessarily the young players like they've been playing with. So it's just the attitude changed out there, the skill changed out there because the experience is more so of what they use than, you know, those guys that are young who really hadn't played together, hadn't played a lot, didn't have a lot of experience.
I think beyond the experience and attitude, the communications were a whole lot better.
Exactly.
Because you look at the Minnesota and the Dallas game, a lot of times, especially in the passing games, you saw guys in the back end standing there like this, like, who's supposed to be back here helping me?
Exactly.
You didn't see that against the Buffalo Bills.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. You know, guys carrying guys into the zone where they're supposed to be at, you know, switching off routes with different guys. You know, that comes with just experience. Guys understand, guys playing together and playing, you know, assignment correct football. They understood what they were supposed to do, and they played like it.
All right, you talk about the guys coming back. Ronald Darby's back. Jalen Mills is back. Avonte Maddox will eventually be back. We assume Trayvon LeBlanc is coming back. Do they still need additional help at cornerback?
Well, I mean, like I said, I thought, you know, this summer that they were as deep as they've been at the cornerback position. It just so happened that everybody started falling out. Everybody went down. Sidney Jones went down. Ronald Darby. We didn't get Jalen Mills back till the last 2 games. Those are all guys that I expect to come in and play a lot and play. And, you know, they hold each other accountable. At this point, I don't know if they necessarily need that. This defense is really put together to have those guys up front be the, you know, the spearhead of that defense, rush the passer. Sports wants guys to rush the passer and get after him. And now he's more comfortable with those guys at the back end. When he's comfortable, he's going to call more plays to make him comfortable. You know, so I like the fact that they do have an open book now because the 2 DBs are back.
All right, let's go back to Jalen Mills for just a moment. And this is what Seth Joyner had to say about his hairstyle last night on Eagles Post-Game Live.
If I ran into him and I had a mask on, I'd shave that garbage off. Sorry, man.
Wow, he said he
okay. Sorry, Seth. we had to do it to you, Seth.
Yo, Seth, bro, I ain't had nothing to do with this. I'm just seeing this, dog.
It looks like
it looks real. Hold on,
so
yo, check out. Let me break it down. You know, so when you break it down, look at the fade. The fade's coming in, flawless fade.
Right. And then you look at the green braids in the
Seth,
come on, man.
Ooh, he gonna be hot as fish grease over this, man. Seth, love it. Hey, Seth Mills, love.
You know what?
Yo, hey.
He's going to be looking for you now.
If it wasn't me, that's your boy Mike Mulhern.
Mike Mulhern, our producer.
Our producer.
I feel bad for you this Sunday when he comes in to do pregame live for the Chicago Bears game, Mike. You on notice right now.
Seth Mills.
All right, we're going to step aside one final time of the show when we come back. Carson Wentz relied on his legs for some of the biggest moments Sunday in Buffalo. Should he start running more? We'll discuss it in a moment. With swirling winds and a dominant running game, Carson Wentz wasn't asked to do a lot with his arm. He did throw for 172 yards and a touchdown, but he also showed off his legs, picking up a couple of crucial 3rd downs on the run. He finished with 8 carries for 35 yards, both his highest numbers since Week 7 of the 2017 season when he ran for 63 yards against the Redskins. Mr. Brooks, do you think Wentz needs to use his legs more for the team to have success, or is the risk of injury too great?
I don't think it's necessarily injury is the reason why he needs to run more. I think if you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. Whether you're in the pocket, outside the pocket, I think he's going to run more just because the nature of how they're going to start calling plays. You know, they need to move this pocket around, especially since you have a young left tackle starting, a rookie offensive tackle start. So, you know, you're going to have to move around a little bit. You know, boot protections, you know, you got to run waggle protection, you know, pull the backside guard, have him almost like a guy in front of him, you know, to help him with blocking. Those are all things you do to make sure that you keep him from being in the same spot all the time. So, yes, I like the fact that he's running around doing more. And he started to be, you know, a lot more improv in his game also. I mean, he's running around, making plays, getting outside the pocket. Those 2 long runs he had in the 4th quarter, to you know, put the game, you know, squarely in our hands, were guys were plays where he just went out there and improv. You know, it was a speed screen to the receiver. He went to go throw the speed screen, and instead of seeing he see the defensive lineman jump up, he takes off running, understanding that the blockers in front of him, his offensive line, those guys are blocking for a run play, trying to get out to block for the screen play. So he just used that blocking and went out there and got a first down. I mean, it threw the defense by storm. I mean, caught him off guard. And then the play where he was back there, and then he turned around and he scrambled. That was even better play because, you know, he went back, understand his man protection, and then saw that everybody's back was turned and ran for a first down. So he just was being smart about it, improving, and out there just playing and having fun.
I think his legs are a significant part of his DNA, who he is.
Yep.
I think he's more effective when he gives the impression that when you move the pocket, when he rolls outside, he can take off and run, and it forces an outside backer, a cornerback, a safety to freeze for just a moment.
Yep.
You look at shorter quarterbacks like a Russell Wilson and a Drew Brees, they're always rolling out, and look at how they throw the ball. Patrick Mahomes, always on the move. And look how effective they are because those guys could also take off, pick up a few yards in any given moment.
Love it,
I think you have to add that extra element to Carson Wentz's game. I don't think he's as dangerous just as a pocket passer.
Exactly, you know.
All right, that's a wrap for this show. For Barrett Brooks, I'm Derrick Gunn. Have a great night, everybody.